We've all been there, right? That one fight that just spirals, and by the end, everyone's feeling hurt, misunderstood, the works. We're kind of taught that fighting is a sign that something's wrong with a relationship. But what if that's completely backwards? Today, we're going to look at a whole new way of seeing arguments, an anatomy that could seriously change how you see conflict forever.
Just for a second, think about the last big disagreement you had. Yeah, that one. The one that left you feeling so frustrated, maybe even questioning a few things. Now, what if I told you that moment wasn't a failure? What if it was actually an opportunity?
And that's the core idea right there. The goal isn't to stop fighting. I mean, come on, that's impossible. The goal is to learn how to fight in a way that actually deepens your connection. It might sound crazy, but there's a clear anatomy to it, and today we're going to dissect it, piece by piece.
So let's dive right in. Why do healthy couples even fight in the first place? Well, the simple answer is that conflict is just inevitable. You've got two different people trying to build one life together. But the big difference in a healthy couple isn't that they fight, it's how they fight. See, their goal isn't about winning. It's about something else entirely. This, right here, is the key mindset shift you have to make. A healthy argument isn't a boxing match where one person wins and the other loses. It's more like a puzzle you're trying to solve together. You each have a different piece of the puzzle, and the whole point is to figure out how they connect to create a bigger, shared picture. It's a total collaboration, not a competition. Okay, so here's something that might actually surprise you. A successful argument doesn't begin with the first sentence that's spoken. Nope, it starts way before that. The prep work, the environment you create, that stuff is just as crucial as the actual words you end up choosing. So how do you even prepare? Well, it's really about creating a safe space for your relationship before the conflict even starts. This means agreeing on some ground rules when you're both calm and happy. It means picking a time and place where you're not exhausted or stressed out. It means walking in with curiosity, not with your boxing gloves on. And maybe most important of all, it's about reminding yourselves, hey, we're on the same team here. And this is just the golden rule that sets everything else up for success. That initial approach, that first minute, can literally predict the entire outcome of the conversation. If you start gently, a peaceful ending is actually possible. But if you start harsh, you're almost guaranteeing a harsh ending. All right. So you've set the stage perfectly. Now what? What does the actual conversation look like? Let's break down the step-by-step anatomy of what a healthy, productive argument really is. Because it's a process, not just a chaotic free-for-all. We'll look at this whole thing in two parts. These first three phases you see here, they're all about creating safety and bringing the tension way, way down. You've got the soft opening, then you move into active listening, and then, this one's a biggie, you take responsibility for your part in it. Let's just look at the huge difference here. Over on the left, the healthy approach, that's a soft opening. It's all about your experience. I feel hurt when this happens. But on the right, you've got the unhealthy attack, the hard opening. You always do this. See? One invites a conversation. The other one just makes the other person throw up a defensive shield immediately. And this gets to the absolute heart of that second phase of listening. It's a simple psychological truth. You cannot get your point across if the other person is busy defending themselves. So the single most powerful thing you can do is just make them feel understood first. That means putting your own agenda on pause for a minute and just listening. Okay, so once they feel heard, and once you've owned your part of the mess, the whole dynamic starts to shift. Now it's your turn. Now you can express your perspective, but you do it in a way that keeps that collaborative feeling going. And from there, and only from there, can you finally move into solving the actual problem together. Here's a perfect example of how to do that. Instead of saying, "You're so rude for looking at your phone," you explain the impact it had on you. "I felt dismissed." And then you state your underlying need. "What I really need is to feel heard." This gives your partner useful information they can actually work with, not just an accusation they have to fight against. So you've talked it all through, you've even found a solution. You're done, right? Not even close. So many couples make the mistake of thinking the argument is over when the talking stops. But actually, the most important phase is still to come, the repair. And this is a really crucial takeaway. Think of an argument like a small emotional tear in the fabric of your relationship. The repair is what stitches that tear back up, and it often makes the connection even stronger than before. Without it, all those little tears just add up over time, and they can eventually destroy the whole thing. So what does a good repair even look like? Honestly, it can be really simple. A hug, holding their hand, saying, "I love you, and I'm really glad we figured that out." It's also about following through on whatever you agreed to, and then And this part's critical. You have to let the issue go. You've repaired it. Don't keep picking at the scab.
Okay, now to make all of this even more practical, let's get into our final section, your argument toolkit. We're going to start with the 4 biggest red flags you need to avoid. These are behaviors so toxic they can actually predict the end of a relationship with scary accuracy.
First up is criticism. And you've got to understand, this is not the same thing as a complaint. A complaint is about a specific thing. The trash is overflowing. But criticism, that's an attack on their character. You're so lazy you never take out the trash. See that difference? One is about an action. The other is an attack on who they are as a person.
The second one, and honestly the most dangerous red flag of them all, is contempt. This stuff is absolute poison. It's sarcasm, mocking, eye-rolling, sneering. It's any kind of communication that basically says, I am better than you. It just radiates disgust, and it is incredibly destructive.
Third, we've got defensiveness. You know that feeling, right? That knee-jerk, it's not my fault reaction? It's when you counterattack or play the victim. When you're being defensive, you're pretty much telling your partner that their feelings and their perspective just don't matter to you.
And finally, there's stonewalling. This is when one person just shuts down. They completely stop responding, they might look away, or even just leave the room. It's a total withdrawal from the conversation, and it makes any kind of connection or resolution completely impossible. I really want you to let this sink in, because it is that serious. Researchers can literally listen to a couple argue, and, just by tracking these 4 behaviors, they can predict with startling accuracy whether that couple will stay together or not. So the point is, these aren't just bad habits, they are relationship enders. You have to eliminate them.
So what does this all boil down to? Here's your practice guide, your game plan for the next time things get tense. First, prepare. Pick the right time and place. Then open softly with an I feel statement. Then listen. Really listen to understand and validate them. Take responsibility for your part. Then share your side of things. Work together to solve the problem, and finally, always repair the connection.
And that right there is the real transformation. It's not about trying to avoid fights. It's about practicing this anatomy, even if you do it imperfectly at first. Because when you do, your biggest fights no longer push you apart. They become the very things that can actually bring you closer. You don't just solve problems. You build a much stronger connection.